Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. My name is Tawanda, but my friends call me TuTu. So alright, so we're going to get started back where we left off at. So we're going to start again with laying out our pattern piece back. Alright, so remember I told you we're going to have to fold the piece that we trace in half so that we can do our design that we created. Okay, so first things first, I like to measure out the fabric that I would be, I like to measure out the tracing paper and the amount that I would need to trace the piece. And I'm going to go a little bit over just in case. And I'm going to cut so I can have freedom to move the tracing paper around the pattern. Right. Okay, so roughly I have a length that is the same length of my size medium pattern piece with maybe an inch or two extra, and that's just in case. Okay, so I'm going to take the tracing paper, fold it in half like this. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take the folded edge and line it up with the edge of the pattern piece that says center back fold. Alright. So then I'm going to proceed with my mechanical pencil to trace the outline of the size medium, including the little markings on there. I normally wouldn't do that because I don't need to, but if you're a beginner sewer, it's very important that you transfer that information onto your new pattern. So I'm going to do this rather quickly, but you can take your time if you want to make lines completely straight. That's up to you. Oh, and then handy ruler, a flexible ruler. Okay. Oh, and today's background music is courtesy of the 90s. Alright, so I've traced it on that edge. Let's fold it. But I don't need to copy that because our actual pattern piece that we're going to use is going to be fully open. But I will write on here the number and which piece it is. And also how many pieces I have to cut out. So here it says cut one and fold. Since we're not folding, but we're still going to cut one. Actually, I take that back. No, I don't take that back. Never mind. Alright. So, we have that, the back, the number, back, and how many pieces. So one of fabric. Alright. And then I transferred my notches here and little markings everywhere there should be. Okay. And then you'll notice here at the top, they have some writing that says 3/8 in seam allowance. So make sure you write that so you'll know only in this area will you be making your seam allowance, which is right up here to the collar, 3/8 inch. Now once you have that, I like to see a deep dark line. So therefore, I'm going to outline what I just traced with pencil with Sharpie. And also this will make it easier for you to transfer that same pattern on the other side of the tracing paper. Again, if you want your lines to be precise, go slower. However, it's fine with me. Alright. Alright, so the piece should look something like this. Now, think about seam allowance. All patterns are pretty much 5/8 inch seam allowance, but I never follow 5/8. I only do like 1/2 inch, but it still works for me. So you can do 5/8 or 1/2 inch. Now, beginners, you would need to take a ruler and mark your seam allowance either on your pattern or after you've cut it out from fabric, mark it on the fabric so that you'll know exactly how much seam allowance you need. Now, seam allowance is the area that is not included in the garment measurement, like finished garment measurement. So that is extra that you need in order to put the seams together. Alright, so we have that like this, like I showed you. Okay, so we're going to flip it over and retrace this. So this way we're going to get one full back piece that we're going to be able to transfer our design that we did for the Henley t-shirt. Now, I know we didn't make a back, so you can draw out a back if you want to. Me, I'm just going to simplify my back. Okay, again, transfer notches. That's those triangle thingies. And when it's time for us to cut out the pattern out of the fabric, I'll show you how I cut my notches. So, you know, like if you're using the flexible ruler with a Sharpie, sometimes there'll be a Sharpie on it. Now, a way to get off the Sharpie mark is to use rubbing alcohol, and it'll take it right off. Oh, and that's also another tip, that you can use rubbing alcohol to take ink out of clothing. Now, I won't take Sharpie out unless the Sharpie is very fresh. But if the Sharpie's been in a while, it's not going to take it out. But however, it will take ink out of clothing. Alright. So now we're done with our back piece. We can just throw that paper away. I'll put it to the side, sorry, don't throw it out. Alright. So, now we have our back piece. And you see how, after we opened it up, it's one complete back piece. Now, you will notice that, looking at the patterns, it's very important that you label everything, because the back, the front, and the sleeve will look identical. And I'll show you what I mean. So that's my back. This here is the sleeve. I know it's not in ink yet because I'm going to draw it and do that right now. But it is the same shape as the back piece. So I'm going to do this right quick with a Sharpie so you guys can see the lines. And again, adding little special pattern markings that you will need. Oh yes, You also notice that my sleeve pattern is longer than yours. The reason being is that the sleeve pattern for view C is about a 3/4 of an inch sleeve. I want a longer sleeve, so I added about 7 inches to it. Okay. Now I'm going to use the same method I did on the on the back, to match up and make sure that my sleeve is going to be even on both sides of where I drew the 7-inch extension. So I'm going to fold it in half, making sure to match up the top edges. Alright. Open it up, and then you'll notice here that there is a line on it. And that line is, let me darken it first and I'll explain what it is. It's more of like an arrow, I guess you can call it. And that arrow is what you use. It's called the straight of the grain. And I'll explain how to use that once we start cutting out. Alright. So also here on the sleeve you put your markings, like 11, sleeve, cut. Alright. So that's done. So far I have my sleeve and my back cut out. I mean, not cut out, but pattern. So I've already pre-drew my pattern for my collar, which is number 12. And then I transferred the markings that I need onto my new pattern piece. And then the front, I'm going to trace that piece for you, just as I did the pattern piece for the back. So again, I folded it in half. And I'm just going to draw the same piece on the other side of the tissue, of the paper. Look at my mess. Right. Alright, so there we go. I'm pretty sure I missed a knot. Nope, I didn't. Okay. Alright. So now that we have that drawn out, and you'll notice that there is no line here. So, remember I told you like the front is like the back and it has the place on fold. Well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to cut it on fold. We're going to cut it all in one piece, like I said, for the back. So, perfect line right here down the center from the fold. We're going to put an arrow, and that'll indicate the straight grain of the fabric. And like I said before, I'll explain what the straight grain of the fabric is when we get to cutting out, because it's not going to make much sense now. Alright, so now that we have our front piece done, we're going to start transferring the design that we have here onto our pattern piece. And again, we're going to fold it back in half. And I'm going to work on the side that doesn't have words printed on it directly. So, let's see. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and cut out the pattern. Now, seamsters know that you have two sets of scissors. You have scissors that you cut paper and pattern with, and you have scissors specifically for fabric. And anyone knows that it's a no-no to use anyone's fabric scissors to cut paper with. So for me, I just, after my fabric scissors get dull, I just use them as paper scissors. And I warn anyone else, these are only fabric scissors. You can go as far as to label it fabric only, just in case you live with multiple people and they like to just take your stuff and use it. Now at this point, you can go ahead and cut out all your pieces or just the front, because that's what we're going to start working with first. Now by looking at this front piece, it's like a medium. I think it's going to be too wide for me, but I'll explain how we can make it smaller once we start sewing. Alright, so we have our front piece cut out. Now, like I said, we're going to fold it back in half. We're going to take our mechanical pencil. Alright, so this is my design. So we're going to start drawing the front here design onto our pattern piece. Now, this might be hard for some people because it was hard for me in the beginning. So you have to imagine what this would look like bigger. And we're only going to do half of it because it's a bit overwhelming to try to transfer, do a whole look just like this. So that's why we're splitting it in half. Now, placement wise, you can start by, let's see, we can put our first claw mark. Like me, I have claw marks, but you will start at the top and work your way down. Now, some of the proportions are going to probably change because we're making it for real now. So let's see, we're going to start here with the claw mark. I'm going to have a claw mark in the center, then also one on either side of in the collar area. Okay, so you're going to draw your first shape, and keep in mind that this region here, the top region, is a 3/8 seam allowance. So I'm going to use my ruler to guesstimate what 3/8 is. Okay, so this song that's playing is by Genuine, called Pony. Brings back some memories from my college years. Yes, I just told my age. Alright, so I'm estimating you got your 3/8, like a 1/4 of an inch. So we know that our true design for whatever's going to be around the collar will have to include seam allowance in it. And as far as dimensions go on how big to draw to make your pieces, you're just going to have to like eyeball it. My suggestion is that if this is your first time or you're not like a veteran sewing, I suggest that you do all the design on the pattern work and stuff and you use a sample fabric instead of using your real fabric. So that way you can work out the kinks. Me, I'm just gonna go for it because I've been doing it for a very long time. Now in here, your markings need to be exact because that's gonna interfere with how your design looks once you start sewing it. Okay. That's where this polymer eraser come in if you make mistakes or need to change lines. Now, you might have to change some spacing here, but we'll figure it out later. This is so we get a general idea of what our pattern that we design is going to look like in the, not the flesh, but in human size, I guess. Alright, so then next I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to draw a diamond, which I have here. It's probably going to be about an inch down from the center. Maybe 3/4 of an inch down. So I'm going to put a mark there. Now you have to determine how big you want your diamond. For me, I'm thinking actually I changed my mind. I'm going to make the diamond a 1/2 inch from the edge of the claw mark I made. Because I want to try to get its dimensions almost as close as possible as to the dimensions that I designed. Ah! Okay. Yes, my dream fell, but never fell. It's back. Yes, accidents like this will happen during my videos. Especially when cats are involved. I have 2. Alright, now let's get back to what we're doing. So we say we're going to move it down 1/2 inch. We're going to make a marking. Alright, so the width of my diamonds, so the diamond is a square, ultimately tilted. So I'm thinking, let's see, maybe 2.5. Alright, so I'm going to measure from the marking down 2.5 and put another marking. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is going to make a square, which is that's going to be marking would be 1 1/4, because that 1 1/4 marking, when I opened it up, unfolded pattern piece, will equal to 2.5. Alright, so 1 1/4